Usually when we talk about a fresh start in sports, there's this expectation of a clean slate, like a bell ringing in a boxing ring.
Right.
You step out of your corner, the previous round is wiped away, and you just focus on the opponent standing right in front of you.
Hmm.
But then you look at tournament football, specifically the pressure cooker of a FIFA World Cup, and suddenly that clean slate is, well, it's a total myth.
Oh, completely.
You are operating in a psychological landscape where the ghosts of your last match are standing right there on the pitch with you.
It is the absolute definition of carrying your baggage into the ring. I mean, you aren't just fighting the 11 guys in the opposing jersey. You're fighting your own fatigue, your own sense of injustice from a previous refereeing decision, or, the crushing weight of a near miss from 4 days prior.
Right. And welcome to another deep dive. It is so great to have you here with us. Today we are heading to Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California for a thrilling do-or-die Match Day 2 clash. This is Group J of the 2026 FIFA World Cup between Algeria and Jordan.
What a match to break down.
Yeah, and to figure out how this highly volatile match unfolded, we're pulling from a massive stack of materials. We've got tactical blueprints, play-by-play feeds, and the raw, unfiltered fury of fans sounding off on Reddit.
The full spectrum of football analysis. We are going from the sterile, calculated environment of the manager's tactical whiteboard straight into the deeply emotional, highly reactive digital terraces.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack exactly how tactical adjustments, physical stamina, and sheer mental resilience turned a potential World Cup disaster into a masterclass comeback.
Because it really was a masterclass.
It was. We want to help you understand the razor-thin margins of tournament football, where a single substitution or like a momentary lapse in concentration can rewrite a nation's history. And to truly understand the tension at Levi's Stadium, we had to look at the shadows cast by Match Day 1. Both of these nations walked into California carrying some heavy, heavy baggage.
Oh, those Match Day 1 defeats dictated the entire emotional baseline for this clash. Let's look at Jordan first. They make their historic World Cup debut against Austria. They step onto that massive global stage, and for a brief, shining moment, they touch the sky.
Yeah, what a moment that was.
Ali Olwan scores this brilliant, bending solo equalizer. It is Jordan's first ever World Cup goal. You can practically feel the elation, but the euphoria just doesn't last. They suffer an unfortunate own goal off a corner by defender Yazan Al-Arab, concede a late penalty, and ultimately lose 3-1.
I mean, it was a courageous performance, but you have to imagine the physical and emotional toll that takes. They burned so much adrenaline, just proving they belonged on that pitch, only to walk away with 0 points.
Exactly.
And on the other side, you have Algeria. They draw the defending champions, Argentina, in their opener, and they just get systematically dismantled by Lionel Messi.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he scores a hat-trick on his 200th cap, tying Miroslav Klose's record of 16 tournament goals, a 3-0 defeat.
And it wasn't just the scoreline that drained Algeria. It was the nature of the match. Argentina employed a suffocating high block. Like, they were defending deep in Algeria's half, swarming them every time they tried to play the ball out from the back. Dealing with that kind of relentless, claustrophobic pressure for 90 minutes leaves a team physically exhausted.
Plus, there was a massive layer of controversy. And just to be clear for you listening, we are entirely impartial here and simply reporting the facts from the sources. But the Algerian Football Federation actually filed a formal complaint to FIFA regarding the referee in that Argentina game, Simon Marciniak.
Yeah, that was a huge storyline.
They alleged a dangerous studs-raised tackle by Messi on Aissa Mandi went completely unpunished, along with an elbow by Alexis McAllister on Ibrahim Maza. The Algerian coach, Vladimir Petkovic, was livid in the press conference. He stated, "Everyone saw it, including me."
If we connect this to the bigger picture, when you synthesize all of that, you see the immense psychological burden placed on both teams heading into Match Day 2. Algeria is a squad rich in technical talent, but they arrived in Santa Clara feeling legitimately robbed and carrying a profound sense of injustice. Jordan arrived heartbroken, yes, but brimming with this fearless baseline confidence because they had just gone toe-to-toe with a European powerhouse.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because did Algeria's righteous indignation over the Argentina match blind them to the actual tactical threat of Jordan? It's like stepping into the ring still furious at the referee from your last fight. You leave your chin wide open.
That's a great analogy.
You are so fixated on the injustice of the past that you don't even see the left hook coming right at you.
Well, that left hook is exactly what Jordan delivered in the first half. Jordan's coach, Jamal Salami, didn't abandon the fearless spirit they showed against Austria. He set them up in a highly resilient 3-4-2-1 formation. They relied heavily on incredibly dynamic attackers, Musa Tamari on the right and Ali Olwan leading the line.
Meanwhile, Petkovic sets Algeria up in a possession-heavy 4-2-3-1, looking to dictate the tempo from the opening whistle.
And dictate they did, but only in the most superficial sense. Algeria ended up with massive possession numbers early on, but, having the ball and actually penetrating a defense are two very different things in modern football.
Which Jordan proved pretty quickly.
Right, because in the 36th minute, Jordan executes a textbook counterattack. There is a fleeting defensive error by Algeria, and Jordan triggers a lightning-fast transition. Tamari drives down the wing, provides a brilliant cutback cross right to the edge of the box, and Nizar Al-Rashdan slots it beautifully into the bottom right corner.
1-0, Jordan.
1-0. They drew first blood despite only holding 27% possession up to that point.
Wait, 27%? What does a team executing perfectly on 27% possession actually look like on the pitch? Because on paper, it sounds like they were being utterly dominated.
On the pitch, it looks incredibly disciplined. Jordan employed a low block. They happily let Algeria pass the ball around the center circle completely unbothered. They packed their players tightly in their own defensive third, creating a dense thicket of bodies that denied Algeria any space to pass through the middle.
Just a wall.
Basically, yeah. They weaponized their lack of possession to frustrate a highly technical Algerian side. And remember Algeria's state of mind. Frustration was already bubbling just under the surface from the Argentina match.
Oh, for sure. And the refereeing assignment for this match played right into that dynamic, too. Slavko Vincic from Slovenia had the whistle. If you read his referee profiles, he is known across Europe for strict game management and absolutely zero tolerance for dissent.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, he lets the physical game flow but punishes complaining instantly.
Which perfectly suited Jordan's disciplined, compact defensive shape. They could be physical, they could disrupt Algeria's rhythm, and Vincic was happy to let the boys play.
Right.
Conversely, it actively worked against Algeria's frustrated attackers who were perhaps looking for the referee to bail them out with foul calls after feeling so hard done by in match day one.
Behind that Jordanian low block was an absolute wall named Yazid Abu Laila. The Jordanian goalkeeper made 6 crucial saves in that first half, just to maintain that 1-0 lead going into the dressing room.
6 saves and a half is massive.
It is. He was rated a 7.2 for the match, making him one of the highest-rated players on the pitch. But playing that way takes a massive toll. Jordan played the entire first half like a tightly coiled spring, ready to snap forward on the counter.
The vulnerability of the low block is the sheer physical demand it places on the defending team. You are asking your players to maintain perfect concentration and engage in constant high-intensity lateral shifting to track the ball for 90 minutes.
But springs can only stay compressed for so long. Eventually, the metal fatigues, and it loses its tension. And that kind of metal fatigue is exactly what Petkovic was banking on when he walked into the Algerian locker room at halftime.
Yeah, he had to change something.
He's staring at a 1-0 deficit. He knows his team will be on the first flight out of California if they lose. He realizes the spring is coiled tight, and he decides he needs to apply a completely different kind of pressure to break it.
This is where we see the difference between a good manager and a great tournament manager. Petkovic didn't panic and just tell his players to try harder. He fundamentally recalibrated the geometry of Algeria's attack.
He makes immediate second-half changes. He pulls Ramiz Zarouki from the midfield and subs in Nabil Bentaleb, and he brings on Nadhir Benbouali for Hicham Boudaoui.
Bentaleb was the key there. In the first half, Algeria fell into the classic trap of the low block, what analysts sometimes call the horseshoe of sadness.
The horseshoe of sadness, I love that.
It's so descriptive. They were just moving the ball in a slow U shape from the left wing back to the center backs over to the right wing without ever penetrating the penalty box. It was safe, horizontal passing. By bringing on Bentaleb, Petkovic demanded vertical velocity. He wanted sharp, incisive passes breaking the lines of Jordan's pressure. More importantly, he instructed his team to force wide overloads.
By pushing an explosive fullback like Ryan Ait-Nouri so high up that left flank, Algeria forced Jordan to commit extra bodies to deal with the threat.
What's fascinating here is, when Jordan slides 3 or 4 defenders over to contain Ait-Nouri, they completely fracture their own defensive shape. Gaps suddenly appear in the center and on the opposite side of the pitch.
You pull them out of their compact safety net. And once that shape is gone, the technical superiority of players like Riyad Mahrez and Amin Gouiri can finally shine. They start finding pockets of space that simply did not exist in the first 45 minutes.
Exactly.
The stats from this second half aren't just numbers on a page. They paint a picture of an absolute siege. Algeria finishes the match with 73% possession. They complete 620 passes with an 88% accuracy rate compared to Jordan's meager 232 passes.
That is just dominant.
They outshoot Jordan 17-8, but the most telling stat of all, 9 corners for Algeria to Jordan's 1. They absolutely pin them against their own goal line.
It was an avalanche of pressure. When you concede 9 corners, you are desperately scrambling just to clear your lines.
And the dam finally bursts in the 69th minute. That substitute, Nadir Benwali, on his World Cup debut, rises up in the box and heads home a brilliant corner delivery from Captain Riyad Mahrez.
1-1.
The relief for Algeria must have been staggering.
Oh, I bet.
Then in the 82nd minute, the inevitable happens. Another chaotic set-piece situation. A loose ball bounces around the penalty area, and Amin Guri pokes it home from close range. 2-1 Algeria.
While all this attacking glory is happening at one end, we have to give immense credit to the Algerian center back Rami Bensebaini. When a team commits 8 or 9 men forward to break a low block, they leave themselves massively exposed to a counterattack.
Yeah, wide open.
Right. But Bensebaini earned a massive 8.4 match rating from Sports Dunya for essentially marshalling that backline on an island. He snuffed out every single one of Jordan's transition attempts in the second half before they could even materialize. High-wire defending at its finest.
It was a one-man cleanup crew. But here's where it gets really interesting. I want to introduce the Reddit fan sources here because it adds a fascinating counter-narrative. Was this truly a tactical masterclass by Petkovic, or did Jordan simply suffer a catastrophic physical collapse?
Ah, the fan perspective.
Yeah, if you dive into the post-match threads, the Jordanian fans have a very specific take. They point out their team's chronic historical inability to defend set pieces, which notably is exactly how Algeria scored both of their goals.
True.
But more crucially, they pointed to a severe lack of bench depth. They noted that the team visibly hit a physical wall right around the 60th minute.
The supporters are highlighting a brutal reality of the World Cup. Having a starting 11 capable of competing on the global stage is an incredible achievement, and Jordan absolutely proved their best 11 can strike fear into established footballing nations. But tournament football isn't played by 11 men.
Exactly. One Reddit user wrote a really poignant breakdown. They said, clearly the quality's there, but the team runs out of gas by the 60th minute, and the subs aren't good enough to make an impact. Another user replied by pointing out a stark demographic reality. Jordan's entire population is somewhere between the size of Los Angeles and Chicago. Their talent pool is fundamentally smaller than a footballing giant like Algeria.
This raises an important question. To survive the physical toll of 90-minute battles every 4 days, especially when you are burning energy relentlessly in a low block without the ball, you need a squad of 26. You need players who can come off the bench in the 70th minute to replace exhausted starters without dropping the overall level of quality on the pitch. That lack of depth is what ultimately fractured the spring.
And that physical collapse on the pitch directly mirrors their collapse in the tournament standings. The math in Group J is completely unforgiving. This 2-1 result officially eliminates Jordan from the 2026 World Cup. 2 games, 2 losses, 0 points. Meanwhile, later that same day in Texas, Argentina secured the top spot in the group with 6 points after a clinical 2-0 win over Austria.
With Messi scoring again, continuing an unstoppable run of form.
Naturally, that leaves Algeria temporarily moving up the table. They are tied on 3 points with Austria, but trailing on goal difference. Everything hinges on match day 3.
Looking at the emotional fallout online, you have a Jordanian fan base that is utterly heartbroken, but incredibly proud. They saw their team make history and score goals on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
As one fan on Reddit noted, the squad is now turning their focus to the upcoming Asian Cup with a serious score to settle. They know they have the starting talent to compete for continental silverware.
The irony of the Algerian fans is just incredible to me, though.
Yeah.
Think about this scenario for a second. Your team dominates 73% of the ball. Your coach makes the exact perfect tactical recalibrations at halftime. Literally, the guy he subs on scores the tying goal. You win the game, you save your World Cup dreams from total annihilation, and the fans are still on Reddit complaining.
Classic football fans.
Right. They are fiercely criticizing the federation, they're angry about the initial starting lineups, and some are even calling for Petkovic to be sacked despite the win. It just goes to show that in international football, the only thing higher than the stakes are the expectations.
It's the curse of a passionate footballing nation. For a country with Algeria's pedigree, simply qualifying for the tournament isn't the goal. Making deep runs into the knockout stages is the baseline expectation. Anything less, or any performance that looks scrappy and requires a late comeback against a debutante nation, is viewed as a failure of potential.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Whether you are navigating a massive project at work, running a business, or just dealing with the unexpected curveballs of daily life, having a plan A that works flawlessly for 45 minutes is great. Jordan's plan A was a beautiful, disciplined piece of strategy.
It really was.
But success ultimately belongs to those who have the depth and the adaptability to pivot when the initial blueprint fails. Algeria didn't panic when they went down 1-0. They changed the geometry of their approach, applied pressure in entirely new areas, and leveraged the depth of their roster to find a solution.
You can't rely on just your starting 11 or your primary skill set to carry you all the way to the finish line. When the metal fatigues, you need another way to generate tension.
Exactly. Before we wrap up, we have to look ahead. The stage is set for an absolutely massive showdown. Algeria now faces a do-or-die match against Austria to reach the round of 32. I was looking at the history here, and the irony is insane. Algeria has to beat Austria to advance, which is the exact same matchup at the center of the massive 1982 World Cup scandal.
The ghost of 1982 looms very, very large over this upcoming game.
Wait, for anyone unfamiliar, what actually happened?
So, back in the 1982 World Cup in Spain, Algeria had an incredible team that famously upset West Germany in the group stages. But in the final group match, West Germany played Austria. Because of the way the points worked out, a 1-0 win for West Germany would magically ensure that both West Germany and Austria advanced, while simultaneously eliminating Algeria.
A highly convenient mathematical scenario for the European sides.
Exactly. West Germany scored in the first 10 minutes, and for the next 80 minutes, both teams essentially stopped playing football. They just passed the ball aimlessly around their own halves, refusing to tackle or attack each other. It became universally known as the disgrace of Dijon. Yeah, Algeria was eliminated not by being beaten on the pitch, but by alleged collusion. It was such a massive scandal that it actually forced FIFA to change the fundamental rules of the tournament. It's the entire reason why final group stage matches at the World Cup are now played simultaneously, to prevent teams from colluding based on a known result.
That is wild history. So you really have to wonder, could this exhausting, emotionally charged journey in 2026, from the fury over the messy refereeing controversy in Matchday 1 to this incredibly scrappy, anxiety-inducing comeback against Jordan, could this all be the ultimate crucible? Like, is this the exact fire needed to fuel Algeria's 44-year quest for revenge against Austria?
They finally have their destiny entirely in their own hands. A win against Austria, and the ghosts of the disgrace of Dijon are finally put to rest.
They step back into the ring, chin tucked, ready for the next round. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep asking great questions, keep exploring the fascinating layers behind the headlines, and we will see you next time.